Shalom. So today we're going to look at the understanding of perfect. The problem is we read this in English and we have one definition. However, these are different words from the Hebraic culture, but it's been transliterated into one word in English. And that's how we read the scriptures with the perception of what we know from the English standpoint as opposed to the standpoint of the writers, right? So we're going to look at different words and how they're defined. So this is 2 Chronicles chapter 25 and verse 2. It says, "And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, but not with a perfect heart." So what you're seeing here is that you can do the right thing with the wrong intent, right? Which I will explain this in another video, but this is just to show that, okay, what it's saying here is about just or peaceable, complete, right? So you don't do things with a peaceable heart or with a just heart, with a right heart. The actions that you did were the right thing, right? Just like they gave us school system, right? It's a good thing for us, but what is the intent behind it, right? They gave us the medical facilities. We have access to their hospitals, their drugs, and so forth. But what is their intent behind it, right? It's good that we can go and get quote unquote cure, medicines for cure. However, it has a different intent. So we are not really being cured, right? But that I will explain in another video, like I said. Next, we're going to go to 2 Chronicles chapter 4 and verse 21. It says, "And the flowers and the lamps and the tongues made he of gold, and that perfect gold." So what you're seeing here is there is gold and there's this perfect gold, this pure gold. So it's talking about exclusively, entirely, right? So you know you have gold with like the impurities in it, the zinc, the copper, and so forth, right? Or even after it is melted, but you have your finest quality. And this is what it's talking about, exclusively. There's nothing else there. It's just pure gold, right? So that's another definition of the word perfect. Now let's move on to verse 13. It says, 2 Chronicles chapter 24 and verse 13. It says, "So the workmen wrought, and the work was perfected by them, and they set the house of God in his state and strengthened it." So what you're looking at here is basically like restored or recovered or repaired, right? So just like when the temple was destroyed and they're rebuilding it back, this is another way to look at the word perfect, right? Something is being restored or recovered. Now moving on, I'm going to go to the book of Ezra chapter 7 and verse 12. It says, "Artaxerxes, king of kings, unto Ezra the priest, a scribe of the law of the God of heaven, perfect peace, and at such a time." So the word perfect in this verse is about to accomplish or to perform or to complete or to cease. So you can, like the Most High can bring the work of the wicked to an end, right? Or the work of the righteous that he started, he can complete it, he can perform it, he can accomplish that in you, right? So that's another term for the word perfect. And also you see that also in Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 138 and verse 8. It says, "The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever. Forsake not the works of thine own hands." So it's talking about the same thing that we just read, right? He will complete, he will perform, he will accomplish. As for the wicked, he will cease, or he will bring it to an end. He will cause them to fail, right? Now, the next one we're going to go to is very problematic, especially when it comes on to doing righteousness. Because in the English culture, we always say, no man is perfect. Now, when you say no man is perfect, what you're actually doing is giving yourself a legal document to transgress, because no man is perfect, right? So, what is your thought about the Messiah? Was he not perfect? Was he not a man? So, when you actually say no man is perfect, what are you really saying? You're just trying to excuse yourself. That means when you mess up, you can just say, no man is perfect. Who has not sinned, cast the first stone. That's what you're going to say to justify your sin. Right? Now, this is very different. Let's go to Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. It says, "The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul." Right? So in this case, it's undefiled, it's sincere, it's about integrity, it's about truth, it's about whole, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some images and get a deeper understanding, get something visual on what it means to be perfect, right? Because sometimes we think it's about, like I said, from the standpoint of the English, we think that it's about not making mistakes. That's not what it's talking about, right? Because we know that knowledge is perfection, but before we come into knowledge, we were first ignorant, and once you're ignorant, you're going to be defiled through ignorance, right? So the knowledge of the Most High will make us perfect. It will convert the soul. It's not saying that you were not ignorant at one point. So these are different cultures that we look at it from, and then we get different understanding. So this is the Hebraic understanding. So now let's go to images where we can have a visual of this. Now here's the image, right? We have a car on the screen as well, can see. It's looking very good. It's perfect, right? Now perfect in this English culture means the car has to always look like this. But no, let's look at it this way. The car has a wheel, it has wheels, it has a body, it has seats, it has an engine, right? It has all these different things that serve a common purpose, right? Purpose is to drive, you can go back and forth and so forth. But these things have different functions, right? No, the most important thing is not the car itself, but the person behind the wheel. And that's similar to not just our body as the vessel, but the person in authority that sits in the temple, right? So the vessel can always mess up and stuff like that. However, the important thing is the person inside, right? So all these different things make up the body. The hand, you have the foot, you have the eyes, you have the tongue, you have all of these different parts, right? And of course, the end product is that they all should serve the same purpose. Now let's look at this. What if you see a bucket? A bucket should contain water and so forth, right? Now what if that bucket has holes? You're gonna say it's defiled, it's not perfect because it cannot carry the water. But what if that bucket was used to water plants? What would you say? Would it not be perfect? Yes, because of the purpose that it serves, right? So the holes in the bucket and the bucket itself and the handle all serve one common purpose, so they are working in harmony, right? So the problem with us is that we have a mind, we have a physical body, we have a spiritual body, we have thoughts, we have perceptions, we have all of these things, but the goal is to do what? Get everything to serve one common purpose, not your mind serving its independent purpose, not your desire serving another purpose, not your feeling serving another purpose. The whole duty was to get everything working as one entity, right? No, like I said, we are humans. We are going to make mistake. So let's go over here now. Look at the car on the left. You can see where there was an accident, right? This would be a representation of our transgression. So yes, you're going to mess up by one way or the other. However, you're not going to stay in this condition as the image on the left. Defiled, insincere, lack of integrity, dishonest, right? So what happens is that now you see where your weaknesses are, and you need to do what? Fortify that area of your life. So if you know that you're one of the best drivers on the main road, on the highway, however, when you were driving on that winded road, you did not know how to maneuver, you did not know how to really control that vessel, you did not know how to control the car. So it was skidding. The road was wet, the road was winded, slippery and everything, right? So guess what? It is in that failure, it is in that mistake where you will learn your lessons. So now you know that, okay, when the car is skidding, don't press the brake next time as you did the first time, but you put it in neutral and you keep it on your side of the road. No matter where it wants to go, you keep it in your lane, right? Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay for somebody else's car as well, or even more damage, right, to other people. So you learn your lessons there, and you know where your weaknesses are. So you know that, okay, confidence is, yes, I'm one of the best drivers on the highway, but my weak point is winded roads, wet roads, and so forth. So once you can recognize where your weakness is, now you do what? You strengthen it through the knowledge, the new knowledge that you're learning now. So you follow the instructions, not follow your way of thinking, feeling, or your natural way of doing things, but you follow the instructions. Okay, it says drive 20 kilometers around this winded road. You understand? Whatever instructions it says, you follow that instructions to avoid looking like the car on the left again, repeating the same transgression, right? So you have to have your mind and your body, all your thoughts, your feelings, serving one purpose, and that purpose is to not skid around the winded, slippery road next time you're going down that path. It doesn't mean that you're going to avoid that path completely, right? But it means that you're going to be cautious, and you're also going to keep the instructions in the forefront of your mind, meaning you're going to keep the knowledge of the law in the forefront of your mind when you're going back through similar experiences, not repeating the same mistakes, right? So you know you went about starting a relationship this way, it turned out to be a living hell. Guess what you're gonna do? Go to the scripture, see what it says about seeking a relationship, how to establish things, and you follow those instructions, because now you learn that your old ways did not work, right? You went around your ex, you end up having sex, whatever reason you went around your ex for, now it turned out that you end up having sex, now you committed adultery. You have to recognize your weakness, and then you go back to what the scriptures say about these things. Don't sit with another man and have a drink. Don't go out, let him pay for all these things for you. You're going to be inclined to it. right? And it's the same thing for the man. You have to recognize your weaknesses so you can strengthen it through the knowledge of the Most High. So perfect does not mean that you cannot fall, but it's about the rise after the fall. Shalom.